YouTube Premium is ad-free YouTube. Video downloads, so you can watch cooking shows as you...
Today we're going to be playing deadrails, but I can only use bonds. That means I can't sell anything, I can't buy anything, and I can only use the things that I buy with bonds or things that I find inside of houses. And how we're going to do it is I'm going to do a run with 10 bonds, 25 bonds, and then 100 bonds. So for the 10 bond run, I think I'm going to buy a rifle, some ammo, that is 9 bonzies right there, and then I can find...
In this video, we'll be telling you guys about the best way to start with every class and general tips to help you guys get them W's with every single class in the game. So if you guys enjoyed this video, or if this video helps you out, hit that like button, subscribe, comment below what your favorite class in deadrails is, and let's get right into the video. Alright guys, so with the Alamo, this one's fairly basic. This is what we're going to be starting off with. With the Alamo, the absolute best way to start, and honestly just play the game in general, is going to be armoring your train exactly like this. So you want to put one armor plate on the left side of your train, one directly behind it like this with enough of a gap to get between, and then you want to put one on the right side of the train. Now doing this prevents your team from dying to outlaws, which is very, very important. Also with the barbed wires, thank you to the people in the comments. You guys want to be putting this underneath your plates right here, because if you do this, then the zombies won't be able to get through your plate, or outlaws, and they will die to the barbed wire. So you guys just want to be putting these behind your barbed wire like this, so they won't be able to get into your train and they will die from the barbed wire. This is like pretty much the best way to start with the Alamo, and generally playing with the Alamo after this is just, you're just playing classless after this with a helmet. But this is a pretty good start, just because your train is fully armored and you're ready. Now with High Roller, it's honestly fairly simple to explain this. Basically, always stay inside during lightning storms or be near a lightning rod, because your chance of getting struck by lightning is insanely high, and of course you don't want to be a detriment to your team, or if you're solo, you don't want to die, obviously. As High Roller, you want to be the one always picking up the money backs, because you get more money from it, and you will be the one supplying the team with items. You know, just coal, revolver, ammo, and stuff like that. The best start for High Roller is to take the gold bar, buy a revolver, buy a single ammo, and spend the other 2 on coal. That is the best start you can get with this class, unless you have teammates. If you have teammates, they can be the ones buying coal, and you can spend all of your money on revolver ammo. But yeah, High Roller is fairly simple. Always be the one picking up the money back, supply your team with whatever they need, and use the start if you guys are solo. Alright guys, so for Miner is also a fairly simple one to start off with. Miner, basically, since you start with 2 coal, you can spend all of your money on revolver and ammo, because since you start with 2 coal, that gets you enough to get to a building where you can get more fuel. Or you could buy more coal. I wouldn't recommend doing that, just because getting a gun at the start is extremely important. So basically, at the start of a game, you want to put 2 coal into there. You want to walk over here, and then you want to buy a revolver and some ammo. So boom, and then you want to buy 2 ammo. That's the best solo start for miners. Even in squads, I would recommend doing this, just because, like, they can also buy coal or whatever, and you have a gun to clear first town easily. It's comparable to a cowboy start, which is absolutely amazing. But yeah, miners also fairly simple. Also, at nighttime, you will be the one doing the banks in town and stuff like that. If you actually are raiding a town at night, you will be the one doing it, because your headlamp allows you to see at night. Just make sure not to die, or you will lose it. Next up is going to be the Doctor. Now, the Doctor also has a very, very simple start, where I think that you should honestly sell all of your items and this gold bar to get an insane start. Probably the best start in the entire game, in my opinion. So boom, 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 boom. So with all of this, if you sell all of your items, this is just if you're solo, by the way. If you're in a team, High Roller will be picking up all of these. Like, if you're in a team and you do this, and you don't have a High Roller, you can immediately go buy a rifle and ammo. A rifle and ammo, literally instant first town clear, and you win the game off of that. Doctor is one of the only classes in the game that not only that, but the passive allows you to revive people without bandages, so you don't have to spend money on bandages anymore. If you're solo, however, you will have to buy a revolver, 2 ammo, and spend the rest on coal to actually get further in the game. Just remember that solo, you know, solo Doctor, you're basically doing it for the pistol and ammo start. just because the actual revive mechanic is literally useless when you're playing solo. As conductor, you kind of have a wonky start because most of the time you're playing this in a team. If you're in an actual team, what I recommend doing is having your friends drop you like a weapon item. But if you're playing conductor solo, it is also perfectly fine. Since you start with 2 coal, just like miner, you can go ahead and just get your money. You have 70 money as like at the start of the game. So what you can do is go over here. You can do this and buy 2 revolver ammo so you won't die as conductor. And since you actually are significantly faster than normal terrain, 2 coal can get you to basically to the next outpost. So even if you don't stop for town, even though I recommend doing it, you can actually make it to the next outpost. Now keep in mind, conductor is half HP, so you have to play really, really passively. Do not let anyone ever sneak up on you. Always check your corners. And pretty much, like, if you're playing in a team, someone needs to drop you a weapon. Like, you need a weapon, otherwise you're literally going to die. Just keep that in mind when playing conductor. Have your friend drop you a weapon. If you're playing solo, then you will have to buy a revolver and ammo, literally just not to die. Next up is going to be Cowboy. This one's also an extremely simple start. You start with a revolver, 2 ammo, and a horse saddle. Now, horse is actually extremely important, in my opinion. It's a lot better than a lot of people realize. It enables arsonists, that class. It allows them to basically full clear a town. If you're playing in a team, give the horse to the arsonist and let them full clear the town by baiting all the zombies, just immediately killing all of them. If you're playing solo, since you start with a revolver and 2 ammo, you can buy a single ammo if you want. What I do recommend doing is buying 3 coal instead, because there will be a lot of times where you don't find coal in a shop. I'd recommend putting 2 in, seeing if you find town. If you don't find town, then you can use all 3 coal to get to that point. Cowboy, basically, the start is very simple. It's honestly probably the most simple start in the game, because you just buy coal with your money, and you start with all of the items you actually need to basically beat the game. You have a horse, you have a revolver, and 2 ammo, allows you to full clear first town. Extremely, extremely good start. And if you're in a team, if you have an arsonist on your team, horse will pretty much allow them to full clear the entire town. Next up is going to be Ironclad. I'm not even going to bother going into a game to show you this. You should probably already know this. This class is slower. Your goal in a team is to soak up as much damage as possible for your teammates while your teammates actually kill the mobs that are on top of you. If for any reason at all, you're trying to play this class solo, you need to be extremely careful. Make sure to glitch zombies even more than classless. Just because if you get ganged up on, you will die. And to the people saying, oh, it's not fair, you're not giving Ironclad a ranged weapon. You're playing a class that's based on defense, and you're wanting to snipe people? Bruh. Now, for the class known as None, basically, if you don't have a class, you're new to this game, I recommend getting zombies stuck on either walls or ledges like this, so you can have an easy time killing them. As you guys can see, I'm not able to get hit, and this is basically how you're going to be clearing towns up until you actually get a weapon. You want to get a ranged weapon as soon as possible, so I recommend just glitching zombies like this. You can also glitch them on walls. At the start of town, you just want to be baiting zombies in one by one. You can also actually kite a little bit with this, like this, and they won't be able to hit you. And if you're getting rushed by zombies, you can just hop back on this and still clear them. Now, this is going to take a while clearing town, so I recommend, if it's nighttime, you could barricade yourself inside of a room with an item. I'll try to show you guys that right now. Let's see if I can get a zombie aggroed on me. All right, there we go. You could take an item like this and put it on the door so that zombies are not able to actually get in here. Or you could just continuously get them glitched on the side. It's just that this will help at nighttime. Getting the barrel right here next to the door and to block the door. Yeah, there we go. But obviously, getting them glitched on walls, barricading yourself inside houses is basically how you're going to be playing this. Just because this class, obviously, you don't really have anything going for you, so you need to get a ranged weapon ASAP to actually win the game. After you get a ranged weapon, it's pretty easy peasy as long as you don't get full of yourself. Next up is going to be Priest. Now, Priest is also a very simple start. You basically do the same thing you do with classless, just because, obviously, you can't sell these items. In case you're wondering, they are unsellable. You're not allowed to do it with Priest anymore. With Holy Water, you want to group up zombies as much as you can, very similar to Arsonists, and actually hit them with this. You want to group them up as much as you can, hit them with this, just so you can kill groups of zombies very, very easily. It gives you a significant edge over top of classless, just because you can kill groups of zombies in case you get into a sticky situation. Also, since you're immune to lightning, you can actually do it at your feet. and you are perfectly safe. You could just stand here and it will kill zombies for you. Other than that though, I recommend playing this class the same as classless. Remember, you do have 2 crucifixes. I would save them for reloading the electrocutioner. Basically, put it right next to the crucifix, have a zombie walk over it, and it'll reload your weapon for you. It's pretty easy to do in all honesty, so I would just recommend doing that. Only use these for reloading an executioner. Unless you get to a sticky situation, you can easily just, like, as you're walking backwards, you're about to die, just drop a crucifix at their feet and it will kill the zombie. Now, with the arsonist class, I actually recommend heavily that you get a horse as soon as possible. But in case you can't get a horse, you can also just group zombies up like this. And because you're arsonist, you can kill them extremely quickly. It is actually a very, very nice class just because you can't actually get zombies grouped up and kill them nearly immediately with Molotovs. Just because you do double damage with Molotovs. Like you guys can see right now, neither of these guys are fast zombies. So I could just walk here, boom, Molotov at my feet, and all of the zombies will almost die from this. I do recommend playing it like this if you don't have a horse. Basically, stay near this point and just Molotov most of them and use your shovel on the rest of them. Very, very simple class. You guys will also want to be stocking up on Molotovs as much as you possibly can. Just because, obviously, you know, Molotovs are kind of your specialty. Like, you're going to be using Molotovs a lot. So I do recommend stocking up on Molotovs if you're playing Arsonist. Get a horse as soon as possible so you can get zombies to follow you in giant groups. And then you can just Molotov them to kill them. Otherwise, I do recommend playing it the same as classless if you don't have either of those things. Like, if you're out of Molotovs, obviously you're classless. Horse allows you to group up zombies very, very effectively. And yeah, not much else to Arsonist here. Now, as a zombie, until you get a weapon, you need to play extremely, extremely passively. Basically, you want to play it the exact same as classless, but I would think of it as you can never heal. So I would play it like classless, but you can never heal. After you actually get a gun, your radius for triggering enemies is significantly lower than it would be for any other class. So because of this, it allows you to sneak around towns after you get a gun and easily take out enemies without alerting any of them. Like you guys can see, I'm fairly close to these enemies right now, but they're not getting alerted. So it allows you to get easy headshots on them, unless you suck at aiming like me. Like, after you get a gun, I'm gonna be honest, zombies pretty decent, just because you can sneak around towns and easily get kills just because you will not get alerted. Like, you will not get hoarded in towns as long as you're not playing with friends. And I do recommend after you kill some zombies, or just kill enemies in general, I recommend keeping a few in your sack so in case you get low, you can easily drop all of them out and just quickly eat them to regain all of your HP back. Just make sure not to do this when you're against stuff like werewolves or anything like that, because they will still catch up to you and kill you. Alright guys, so with Vampire, obviously you want to try and stay out of the sunlight as much as possible. Now, if you can't manage to do this, you can hit enemies to heal faster than the sunlight does damage. Also, keep in mind that you have massive movement speed. You have massive movement speed. So you can run faster than literally anything in the game. Nothing can catch you with Vampire just because its movement speed is so big. If you have trouble staying out of the sunlight, I'll show you guys here in a second what you guys can do. But basically, you just want to be kiting zombies like this with Vampire. If you can't manage to stay out of the sunlight, you can take something like a newspaper here and actually use it to block the sunlight. So you guys can see I'm trying to go to the train right here. It's just kind of annoying to do this just because you have to constantly look, but it is a way to actually block sunlight very, very effectively and allows you to get your heals back with the actual Vampire knife. It's also worth mentioning, Vampire does get a melee damage boost, so you can 3-shot zombies with melees, which is very, very nice. And since you can run faster than anything in the game, you can easily clear stuff like Castle without ever even fighting an enemy. You could literally just run around them and they won't be able to hit you at all. You can even use a corpse, I'm pretty sure, to block sunlight. Yeah. So you can literally use anything. I do recommend using something like a newspaper because it is flat. It's easier to do this with. And I would recommend always fight zombies so you guys can heal up to max HP. I also recommend you should always carry, when you get to a certain point in the game, always carry a few snake oils on you. In case you get low, you can pop one. It makes you even faster than the train. And it also heals you in sunlight. You will heal even though you're taking damage. Last but not least is the Survivalist. Now, the Survivalist, people have commented on me using the Game Pass. In case you guys don't have the Game Pass, you can sell the Tomahawk. You get 88 money, right? So since you get 88 money, that allows you to buy, boom, you buy this and you buy this. Now, you guys may be asking, oh, that doesn't give you enough coal to get to the first town. And yes, you are correct. It does not give you enough coal to get to the first town. Fortunately for you guys, I would also recommend buying another revolver ammo. I'm not even going to bother doing it, but you should buy 2 revolver ammo. Fortunately for you guys, 1 coal is in fact enough to get to the first house, which almost always has fuel in it. And this is only if you're playing solo, by the way. If you're playing in teams, you will always have enough coal, so you don't have to worry about that. I would always tell your tomahawk and buy a revolver and 2 ammo, and then buy a coal with your last 20. Oh, look, right there. There's some outlaws. Wow, that would be such a big challenge. That's such a big challenge, am I right, guys? That's a huge challenge. Oh, wait a minute. Survivalist does tons of damage. And wait a minute, I sold my tomahawk for more ammo. Oh my gosh, look at this. And even if you want to spend the time to do this, you can even kill all the horses with your shovel. And this is just an example, by the way. There's usually always a house here instead of outlaws. You could just take the house, get the fuel from the house, and actually win off of that. This is pretty much the best way to start with Survivalist. Survivalist, let's be real here, it's absolutely broken. It is broken. You're going to be the one doing all of the damage, pretty much, so you always want to have the electrocutioner. So you always want to have that weapon. You want to make sure you have a rifle and a shotgun, and you will be the one focusing the enemies. I do recommend if you're going against werewolves, you should probably take some damage, like a little bit of damage against a werewolf will actually make you use way less ammo against it. Way less ammo. But yeah, Survivalist is pretty easy to play. That's how you start off with Survivalist to get revolver and ammo. Stop at the first house to get more fuel, and you keep doing that until you get to the first town. And then after that, the run is won. I mean, you won. You could use a normal revolver and one shot to the head. It is an absolutely insane device. And yeah, that's actually going to be it for this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and see next one, guys. By the way, for any of the classes I did not show a start with, it means it has a completely normal start. There's nothing special you can do about it, and if you keep dying at the end of the game, you should probably just play a little more safe. That's all I can say, because you should not be dying at the end of the game. Hope to see you next time, guys. Peace out. In this video, we'll be telling you guys about the best tips and tricks in deadrails to help you win every single run. So if you guys enjoyed this video, or if this video helps you out, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, comment below what the class that has gotten you the most wins in this game is, and feel free to comment on any tips and tricks I may have missed. Let's get right into the video. Now, the first tip is I recommend selling your starting items if you can to just get a better start. Now, it is worth saying that most of the classes in this game, when you sell their item, you will get literally $0 from it. So be careful with selling your items. Make sure to double check that your class items are sellable before you just literally just waste items. Now, if you already have a gun, I highly recommend grabbing a horse from an outlaw. Just because, like, it is insanely useful to have a horse in this game, and it's just very, it's like I said before, it's just very nice to have a horse. A lot of the other strategies, you will need a horse for. Also, I definitely recommend grabbing 2 horses for every 1 person you have in the game, because let's be frank here, horses dying accidentally happens 24/7. So definitely grab 2 horses per person, because in my opinion, I definitely feel like it's kind of needed in this game. Now, whenever you see a white horse, I definitely recommend giving it a closer check, because there is a very small chance it can actually be a unicorn, which will sell for a ton of money. Also, a very funny glitch you can do is fire and reload very quickly, and it'll pretty much give you infinite ammo, but you will waste a lot of ammo because it will be a little harder to hit. Like, you guys can see I'm doing this. Oh, I can't reload because I don't have any ammo. But yeah, reloading while also firing with a revolver is an insanely useful strategy, mainly because it allows you to rapid fire. It honestly works a lot better on things like the Navy revolver, because the Navy revolver just straight up does more damage. Also, I'm sorry for killing these horses. I really badly need fuel right now. But yeah, like I said before, always check white horses for the horn, because honestly, $250 is a lot of money. And a lot of the time, the white horses are perfectly free. And also, like I said before, make sure to spam reload your revolver if you actually want to do that glitch. I'm not sure if it'll be fixed by the time you watch this video, but in case it isn't, it is a very good strategy to do, and it is absolutely insane with Navy revolver. If you combine it with Navy revolver, it does an absolute ton of damage, because it's pretty much, you will never have to reload if you do it fast enough, and also at the same time, the Navy revolver just straight up does more damage. Also, rip to these horses, F in the chat. At nighttime, in case you are not in an outpost, if you have a horse with you, you can literally just outrun every single mob that spawns in the night. And it honestly makes the nights extremely easy, if not a little boring. Just be aware that sometimes the mobs can spawn in front of you, so you will have to dodge from time to time. So don't be completely oblivious, but this is generally like the best thing to do during nights. This is why you always want to grab a horse, because you can literally just do this and nights are completely free no matter the mob. Like vampires will sometimes teleport in front of you as well. So you have to be double careful against vampires because they can both spawn in front of you and they will always teleport in front of you. So you have to constantly be juking the vampires. Werewolves are free as well. They are a little faster, so you're not going to be able to turn as much. But just be aware that you can do this during the night, and it makes the nights extremely, extremely, extremely easy. Now, a quick tip I'll tell you guys about. Early on in the run, if you guys see a gunsmith before you even get to the first town, or I would argue even in the first town, always check it out, because it can have guns in it. It doesn't look like this one has guns in it, unfortunately. Oh my gosh, it does. See, this is why you want to check out gunsmiths. Not only that, but you can actually get more items in it, which is actually very nice. And you do get fuel. Like, look at that. This is exactly why you always check gunsmiths and sheriffs before the first town. Actual lifesaver right here, man. Like, literally just proving my point in front of my face right now. That's actually absurd luck, guys. I promise I haven't recorded this multiple times. That is insane luck. Now, when you're early on in the run, you don't have a ranged weapon yet. Ignore the fact I got insanely lucky at a gunsmith, which, by the way, that tip is very nice to have. If you guys are early on in a run like this, you guys can do what I'm doing here, where you just slowly bait the zombies into this. So you slowly bait the zombies into this, or you can even get them glitched on the building walls as well. That works. The AI isn't smart enough to go around this most of the time, so you guys can get easy free kills like this in your first few towns when you don't have a gun yet. Now, it is also worth mentioning, I recommend you always clear the first town, especially if you're not solo. If you're solo, there is like a case to be made where you might not want to be doing first town, just because like it may be hard to do as a solo sometimes. But if you do this strategy I'm showing here, or even get them just stuck on walls, the first town obviously is very, very easy. So I always recommend raiding first town. It pretty much gets you set up for the rest of the run. And doing this glitch here is very, very nice. If you ever have a gun, I recommend you stop at every outlaw camp you see until you have the gun you need or the armor you need. Because the amount of loot that these guys have is absolutely insane. There's literally no risk if you already have, like, let's say you have, like, a revolver. You can easily take out their camp and find a rifle from it. So, usually you should probably want to stop for these. They're insanely good. Now, in case you ever get stuck in town at nighttime, as you guys can see, you can blockade the door with items. If it's anything other than a vampire night, you are significantly safer than if you don't blockade the door. Like, I'm just blockading it with literal random junk that's in this house right now. Yeah, my face. I'm trying to show this. Thank you. You can even honestly just hold an item like this, and I'm pretty sure it works as a blockade. That's one of the other reasons why you actually want to be just camping in a house at nighttime. If you blockade the door and it's not a vampire night, you're pretty much guaranteed to be safe. And if it is a vampire night and you blockade the door, you can just stand here on the sides, so they teleport not right next to you. It's also worth mentioning that the best thing to blockade doors are obviously like sheet metal, but you can do it with barrels. Barrels work extremely well. So if you want to hold it like this, like I am right now, that works. Like you guys can see, there is a zombie right there, and this is working. He's not going to be able to get through. Now, during nights like this where vampires or werewolves spawn, if you guys are still in an outpost, you can actually use these turret guns that spawn here to help you kill these enemies, and then you literally just get free money from selling it. Now, I will say this is a very newbie strategy, so I recommend you don't do this unless absolutely necessary, because if you rely on this, then your games are going to take way, way too long to complete. But it can be nice to get a little bit of extra cash, especially when you're already in the outpost or you're about to be in an outpost. It's very, very nice to just have the ability to get a little bit of extra money to help you out. Now, I recommend always having 2 snake oils and a bandage. Only get the bandage if you're playing in a team. If you're playing solo, then the 2 snake oils will be fine. They will literally save your life. Like, I almost just died earlier because I ran out of ammo, and it was not very nice. If I had 2 snake oils, I would be perfectly fine. Remember to always have 2 snake oils on you, because that will be extremely, extremely helpful to have Also, what I recommend doing is whenever you see coal in a shop like this, do what I'm doing and just spend all of your money on coal after you already have enough ammo, by the way. Because I noticed a lot of people overstock on ammo, but ammo is a guaranteed spawn at every single outpost, while coal actually randomly rotates between like the item selection in general store. So you can have entire runs where the only coal spawn will be the coal at the start of the game. So just be careful of that, because you can have times where you literally get no coal and the run will literally just take forever. So I'd recommend buying as much coal as you can when you have enough ammo. Like you guys can see, I just bought a bit of ammo for rifle. 100 ammo is perfectly fine for where I am in the game. Let me reload real quick. And yeah, I just spent the rest of the coal. Definitely should do that after you have 2 snake oils and a decent amount of ammo. Now, when you're armoring up your train, I recommend you do the armoring exactly like this and put the barbed wire exactly like this. Because not only will it protect you from outlaws and prevent you from dying instantly from them, but as a last-ditch resort, since the barbed wires are placed like this, you can barricade yourself inside of your train like this. So you guys can see I'm doing this right now. You can barricade yourself inside of your train, and it will actually prevent you from dying. And the barbed wire will obviously do some work. I don't know how much work the barbed wire would do, but it will kill some of the enemies for you. And quite frankly, that's better than none. That is definitely better than none of them. Now, when you're looting a town and it's about to turn nighttime, I heavily recommend that you guys focus on banks and churches while you're clearing the town. Just because they're the best things that you can loot in towns, basically, when you're actually very low on time. So it's a very useful thing to just remember, okay, I need to rush this bank. Like, it's going to be turning nighttime soon, so the first thing I'm going to be doing is this bank right here. And it's also worth mentioning that you should always do the banks first, because it is really hard to put in codes at nighttime. And in a church, you can actually see crucifixes on the ground extremely easily. So you can still loot the church at nighttime. So just keep that in mind whenever you're clearing towns and it's about to turn nighttime. Focus on banks first, and then immediately go to the church, and then you can leave after you grab the crucifix. Now, if you're gonna buy any armor at all, I always recommend grabbing bare minimum a helmet. I'm also gonna be buying a chest plate here, but always bare minimum actually get a helmet, because the chance of you getting one shot in this game are a lot higher than you would imagine. A lot of the time, the AI actually has aimbot, and they will literally just straight up shoot you through walls and stuff like that. So I would recommend always getting a helmet. Now, this is an extremely quick tip, but if you're ever low on fuel, just know that werewolf corpses actually give a lot of fuel. The amount of fuel werewolves give you is absolutely massive. Actually massive. Like, you guys can see 3 corpses, and I'm almost half a tank. They give you a ton of fuel, and they can be a good backup fuel in case you don't have stuff like barrels or coal. And even if you do have them, sometimes it's just better to use them, because they're about 20 each. They're the same as a coal, and 2 of them is about equal to a coal. So just keep that in mind. Now, this is another quick one as well. If you guys have at least 3/4 of a tank of the actual train fuel, it will get you to the next outpost, guaranteed. Unless you're using conductor, then it takes significantly less. If you're not using conductor, it's about 3/4 of a tank to the next outpost. Just keep that in mind. Now, my next tip is going to be, you should always stop at Tesla. So first of all, even if you don't want to do the boss at the end of the game, which is completely fair, it's a really difficult boss. Even if you don't want to do the boss at the end of the game, you could sell his head and all of the gold bars in here for a lot of money. An absolute ton of money. Like, the money you get from this is honestly massive. It's an insane amount of money you can get from doing Tesla. So just always keep that in mind. Always stop at Tesla, no matter what. Always stop here. It's literal free money if you don't want to do Tesla, and if you do want to do Tesla, then this is the way to actually get the best weapon in the game. So you do have to keep that in mind. Always stop at Tesla. That is like the biggest thing that you should probably know. Always stop at this freaking special building, man. Also, I would always recommend waiting until it's decently daytime to start an event like this, just because from time to time, it can be extremely difficult to do these special buildings at nighttime. Because, like, for example, if you're doing Fort and you get a werewolf night, you might accidentally end up killing yourself in accident. So just keep that in mind as well when you're doing these special buildings. But like I said, if you don't want to do the boss, that's fine too. You can sell his head and all the gold bars in here, like you guys can see. You can sell it for a lot of cash. Plus, there's literal free fuel. Now, whenever you want to actually do Tesla, I heavily recommend that you stand near the front of the building. The reason why is because there are Tesla coils, there's lightning coils or whatever inside of the building that'll protect you from getting struck by lightning. And also, you'll be able to see the zombies from a further distance away. Now, please note that sometimes they will spawn behind you, so you should check behind you from time to time. Make sure to keep that in mind. They will spawn behind you from time to time. I am playing Priest, so I'm going to walk out here. But in case you're not